And now the answers to the previous episode's trivia questions. What was the number of the cell block in which they were holding Princess Leia? AA23. While talking to Luke's uncle, what did C-3PO say was his first job? Programming binary load lifters. Hello, and welcome to A Fan Reads Bantha Tracks. This time, I'm reading issue number 10. And this is everything that happened. It's all about after The Empire Strikes Back has been the glorious, glorious movie, The Empire Strikes Back, has been released. It's a fabulous, fabulous film, and I love it so much. And this one has something to do with Empire, the international movie. And what this is about, it has some interesting foreign movie poster designs. So let's read issue number 10 of Bantha Tracks. Let's see what this one is all about. The international movie. For each of the 52 foreign countries in which Empire will be released, Joel Kohler, Director of International Advertising and Publicity at 20th Century Fox, consulted his thick black notebook describing the country's customs, languages, and regulations. In his Japanese notebook, for example, Kohler has noted that in that country, dubbing the voices in Japanese makes the film second-rate. Interesting. And more like a television movie in the eyes of the audience. He weighed that against the fact that the average moviegoer there ranges in age from 10 to 17, younger than the U.S. average. Because so many children enjoy Star Wars, it was decided that dubbing would be preferable in Japan. Using his notebook for Hong Kong, Kohler determined the best release date for the film there, the Chinese New Year. It was standing room only for the holidays. Sometimes it just is not possible to meet the restrictions imposed by a particular country. For example, Sweden considered Empire too violent. Lucasfilm and Fox decided not to cut the so-called violent sequences and instead to retain the integrity of the film. Sweden allowed only those 15 or older to see it. Wow. Russia, on the other hand, wasn't interested in showing the movie at all. Well,
screw the Russians!
With so many factors to consider, it often takes a full year for a movie to reach around the world, and sometimes it takes even longer. Kenya, Africa, is just now seeing Star Wars, subtitled in Swahili, of course. Wow, just now seeing Star Wars? That's so sad. Aww. But at least finally getting to see it. Yay!
Activate meditation chamber.
From Kenner's Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back collection, Darth Vader's Star Destroyer that you put together. Batteries not included.
Darth Vader's stronger now. He's got Luke.
Luke Skywalker. Action figures each sold separately. You can slide the viewing screen, turn Darth on the command bridge, and make Luke escape through the hidden hatch.
Test the laser cannon. We gotta find Luke. Come on.
Darth Vader's Star Destroyer from Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back collection. Action figures each sold separately from Kenner.
Here we have an article called Costuming Profile. Could it be all about costumes? I wonder. The costumes in Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back were crucial to the film's look. Costume design on both movies was domain of John Mallow. For a period called space fantasy, there are not the standard costume reference works there are for other periods. So Mallow turned for information to the creator of this new world, George Lucas. Lucas remembers his plans for the costumes. I didn't want something very flashy in design. I wanted something very amorphous and vague on the costumes. We tried to keep away from anything that brought attention to itself. With that in mind, Mallow began to gather all the books there were on science fiction and science fiction films. We had a lot of books on the Second World War, and we had books on Vietnam and on Japanese armor. His crew also had sketches done by production illustrator Ralph McQuarrie. Essentially, those sketches took the place of historical reference for us. With Lucas's directive in mind and McQuarrie's sketches in hand, Mallow started visiting theatrical costumers. We tried to find items that were in stock which approximated to the drawings. It was sort of a shortcut way of doing it. We dressed the model up in whatever we could find. For instance, Darth Vader had this sort of black motorcycle suit on and a Nazi helmet, and a gas mask, and a monk's cloak we found in the Middle Ages department. Pieces of costumes came from all sorts of places. I started going around the area in London where all the electronic firms are all together and buying 20 pounds worth of things. They'd say, "That doesn't go with that." But I said, "I don't mind. I'm going to be sticking this on a robot or something." The costumers assembled all their finds, and when George came back, it was a live fashion show. George says, "I don't like that," or "I don't like this." Lucas was not the only one making changes in costumes. Harrison Ford remembers a fitting for his Han Solo shirt. Instead of the small collar, it had a huge Peter Pan collar, a big rounded thing. And I said, "No, that's wrong, can't wear that." And so they took it off. George came in and never missed his collar. He had a concept of the shirt, but it was loose. Milo sums this up. There was very little drawing done. It was really more of a practical make-do and amend. This make-do won Milo an Academy Award for his work on Star Wars. 3 years after Star Wars in 1978, Milo was back with the Lucas team to work on Empire. Here, he had the basic designs from Star Wars and a few new situations to work on. He designed Arctic wear costumes for the ice planet Hoth, a new, more glamorous outfit for Leia to wear on Bespin, and a couple of costumes for Lando Calrissian, whose evolution in the film to a more likable character had to be reflected in his clothes. The wardrobe department under Malo's direction did more than design the Empire costumes. They kept track of all the outfits. For example, all 16 sets of Luke's combat uniform, as well as the costumes for the Rebel and the Imperial armies. They also kept all the costumes in good repair. Sometimes, because of the costume's unusual design, the repairs required more than just a seamstress. For example, Chewbacca's costume is knitted from Angora wool and knotted with yak hair. Once we had to thicken his hair and re-knot him because in hot weather, he molts. Malo has enjoyed his work on the Star Wars saga. In the old days, 10 years ago, if he complained that something wasn't accurate in the script, the usual cry was, "Well, if they noticed that, they weren't looking at the film." But George always goes for the authentic. If it's real, then it's right. How about some Star Wars trivia? How many different types of mechanical vehicles are in Star Wars? Name them. The answers to these trivia questions will be given on the next video. If you don't know the answers, that's okay. Just go see Star Wars again. Or ask a friend who's seen it a lot. Because how else would you get the answers? Okay, the next part is called Profile. Sean Clapp is not Luke Skywalker, but when he wears his costume, it may take several glances to be sure. If you saw him with a costumed Glenn Scroggins, who occasionally is asked for a Harrison Ford autograph, you'd be doubly confused. Both fan club members wear authentic-looking Star Wars costumes. Where did they get them? Simple, the costumes are homemade. Sean, a 17-year-old from Redondo Beach, California, started making sketches for his costume long before the release of The Empire Strikes Back. He used every magazine he could find that showed Mark Hamill in Rebel fatigues. With his imagination, he filled in details lost in grainy photos. If only there was another way to get photos besides magazines. Gosh, one day somebody's going to invent something where you can just bring up photos anytime you want. Like an electronic photo book or something like that. That would be awesome. Because it wouldn't be, because then it would be easier to look at the photos if you wanted to make a costume. Totally. Next, fan club members Liz Martin and Chris Spooner used Sean's sketches to turn a modified ski jacket pattern and bolts of cloth into a costume for the opening of The Empire Strikes Back. After seeing Empire, Sean, the ultimate perfectionist, began reworking his costume to eliminate all inaccuracies. Remember, Linda White of Hidden Hills, California, made 26-year-old Glenn Scroggins' Han Solo outfit. Presented with the idea, she had thought, how simple, a white shirt, black vest, black pants, and boots? Simple until, on closer examination, she realized that the piping down the pant legs needed to be hand-stitched with carpet thread. The white shirt has an intricate pattern similar to a cavalry shirt, and the vest is loaded with pockets. But 3 attempts at pocket making, several false starts, and long hours of sewing produced Glenn's replica of Han's Star Wars outfit, complete with a vest's back pocket for showcasing. Making a reasonable replica of an existing costume is more difficult than inventing a costume. The shape, colors, and textures all have to be close to the original, so painstaking attention has to be made to the myriad details that make each costume unique. Chris noticed, for example, that Leia's Bespin outfit has 3 types of metallic piping: gold, silver, and copper. One frequently overlooked detail is shoes. Costumers agree that the best costume can be ruined by wrong shoes. Luke's costume just would not look the same with tennies. But remember that getting the costume right isn't half as important as getting the character right. An enthusiastic Luke will overshadow any incorrect details in this costume. Also remember that these costumes were made for fun, not for commercial purposes. All the Star Wars characters are licensed trademarks owned by Lucasfilm Limited, so wearing the costumes for financial gain is illegal and not in the spirit of our costumers. There's this part called thank you right here. Can you see it? It says thank you. Interesting. It says, so in this part right here, okay, it says, shortly after issue 9 of the newsletter appeared, we received the following letter. It says, Dear Sirs, in the number 9 summer 1980 issue of Bantha Tracks, you talked about the Washington, D.C. premiere of The Empire Strikes Back. In one of the paragraphs were the following sentences. 2 not-so-famous Star Wars enthusiasts managed to obtain seats after sending Mark Hamill a letter indicating their great desire to see the film. Moved by their eloquence, Hamill sent them tickets for the by then sold-out show. We would like to inform you that we are the 2 not-so-famous Star Wars enthusiasts. For proof, we have enclosed a picture of us with Mark Hamill. We have also enclosed a story that we have written about our attending the premiere. We would like to thank the official Star Wars fan club, Nancy Hudson, and Mary Lou York Hamill for helping to make our most desired dream come true. We would especially like to thank Mark for being himself. May the Force be with you. Lisa something and Teresa Perry. Oh. Lisa Timchok and Teresa Perry. Oh. Let's see what they had to say. It said, thank you. It was almost 3 years to the day since we first saw Star Wars. For 3 long years, we tried every way possible to meet Mark Hamill and the rest of the Star Wars gang. We found out from the official Star Wars fan club that the world premiere of the sequel to Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, was going to be held in Washington, D.C. on Saturday, May 17, 1980. The entire cast from the movie was going to be there. We had 6 months to work on it. When we heard that the Special Olympics was sponsoring the premiere, we made an infinite number of telephone calls to people to try to buy tickets from them. But no one who had tickets would sell them. We sent in almost 100 entries to a sweepstakes contest. We lost. Then we heard that a radio station was holding a poster-making contest with a grand prize of 2 tickets to the world premiere of The Empire Strikes Back. We heard about this only 24 hours before the contest deadline. Wow. We worked on our poster from 9 that night until we finished it the next morning. We didn't even go to sleep until after we handed the poster in, and then for only 4 hours. Guess what? We lost. The day of the premiere, we went to the Kennedy Center where the movie was to be shown. There was a luncheon before the showing of the movie, but we couldn't get in because we didn't have tickets. We had stood outside the luncheon for about 1 hour when we decided to send a note in to Mark Hamill. A girl who worked there took the note to him. Then the luncheon was over and everyone was leaving. We hadn't seen or heard from Mark yet. We tried not to be sad and give up hope, but the tears welled up in our eyes in spite of our courage. We went down to the Eisenhower Theater where the movie was about to be shown. One of the ladies who worked there came up to us and asked, "What are your names?" "Lisa Timchalk and Teresa Perry," we answered. "Why did you leave?" she asked. "Mark Hamill has requested to see you." We were in shock. We both just said, "What?" "He was looking for you, but he couldn't find you," she told us. "We thought you were trying to sneak in." "No, we were just waiting outside," we said. "We wouldn't try to sneak in." "Well, I don't know where he is now, but wait right here." Then she left. About 5 minutes later, the girl who had taken the message into Mark came up to us and said, "Lisa and Teresa, right?" "Yes," we answered. "I'm taking you to meet Mark Hamill." Wow, that is so cool. How exciting. She took us backstage and left us standing there so she could go in the stage door. We were standing in a daze when, lo and behold, Mark Hamill was coming. He had our note in his hand and he said, "So, you are my two friends who wrote the letter, huh?" We couldn't even answer. We just nodded. It proved everyone wrong who thought that Mark wouldn't answer our letter. Wow, that is so awesome. "Well," he said, "I guess you're gonna go in and see the movie now." "Are we?" Lisa asked. "We don't have tickets," Teresa said. "Well, wait a minute." He swung around and went back to the stage door. He talked to someone, and when he came back, he said, "I hope you don't mind standing room." "No," we said. "No one's going to believe this," Teresa said. "Would you like to have a picture?" Mark asked. Lisa took out her camera, and the girl who had brought us back there said she would take the picture. We went and stood on either side of Mark. He said, "Come on," and made us come closer. He put his arms around our shoulders, so we put our arms around him too. Mark said, "Say Wookie," and she took our picture. Now the three of us were just standing there looking at each other. Mark leaned over and kissed us. He was beaming, probably because he knew how happy he had made us. We were beaming too. Mark said, "Enjoy the show." Then he went back through the stage door. Wow, that's awesome. We floated through the hall and into the theater. In fact, we were floating all through the movie, the rest of the day, and we're still floating now. That is pretty amazing. Mark Hamill is awesome. I would love to meet him. Okay, that was a really good story. And on to, what's that? The Empire Walker. The Empire Walker could be yours. Mine? I want one. Let's see. Rebel Recruiter announcing the first official Star Wars fan club membership recruiting contest. Lucasfilm Limited is asking you to help the official Star Wars fan club grow. Since you, the fans, are best qualified to attest to the value of a membership in the fan club, we have designed a recruiting contest so that you can help others join. You, as a current fan club member entering the contest, will have the opportunity to win prizes based upon your efforts. In order to be able to win prizes, you must read and follow carefully the rules and regulations. May the Force be with you. Well, it seems that to win, you have to recruit people. So basically, you have to use these application forms right here and send them, get basically somebody else to fill it out.
But
The grand prize is a replica of the Empire Walker as seen in The Empire Strikes Back. It looks exactly like this. And it's complete with a plexiglass exhibit case. So cool. And second and third prizes are color movie posters from The Empire Strikes Back. And additional prizes are all recruiting members credited with 5 or more valid memberships will be awarded a specially produced fan club Rebel Recruiter button, which looks like this. That's cool. I need to get started on this. I need to because the contest ends. All entries must be postmarked no later than January 15, 1981. I think I have enough time. So I better get started. Wonder if I could bribe people. Alright, on the backside, looks like the final part of this issue. We got newsletter back issues now available. Awesome! There's a special offer to fan club members. What is it? Vader in Flames embroidered patch as worn by the cast and crew of The Empire Strikes Back. Ooh, that's cool. I might want to get one of those. A collector's edition replica of the cast and crew patch from The Empire Strikes Back is now available to fan club members. Designed by Empire conceptual artist Ralph McQuarrie, the cast and crew patch commemorates some of the most daring and adventurous location work in film history. Featuring the Vader in Flames logo, this distinctive emblem has been embroidered in 7 dazzling colors, made with the highest quality craftsmanship. This is an exclusive fan club offer. The Vader in Flames patch is not available elsewhere, so I definitely need to get it. It costs... How much does it cost? It's $3. Well, that was issue number 10 of Bantha Tracks. I hope you enjoyed this issue, and thank you for watching. Till next time, may the Force be with you.